Next, we've got to talk about a genuinely unhinged CNN segment featuring the far-left radical journalist activist Taylor Lorenz, where CNN uncritically parroted her fangirling and absurd endorsement of alleged murderer Luigi Mangione, all while claiming there's really only right-wing extremism in America. Take a listen to this first clip.
Hilarious to see these millionaire media pundits on TV clutching their pearls about someone standing a murderer when this is the United States of America, as if we don't lionize criminals, as if we don't have, we don't stand murderers of all sorts and we give them Netflix shows. There's a huge disconnect between the narratives and angles that sort of mainstream media pushes and what the American public feels. And you see that in moments like this. And I can tell you, I saw the biggest audience growth that I've ever seen because people were like, oh, some journalist is actually speaking to the anger that we feel.
Is it clutching pearls to find it morally reprehensible when somebody allegedly executes someone in cold blood in the street because they have a moral or philosophical objection to their work? No criminal charges, no trial, nothing of the sort. Is it clutching pearls to be against that? Because if so, guilty. I'm clutching my pearls. I think that is bad. And something tells me that if some right-wing lunatic murdered the CEO of Planned Parenthood because he thought her work was harmful and terrible, which of course I would think is evil and don't ever do anything of the sort, Taylor Lorenz and her ilk would feel very differently about the events that transpired there. And I'm sorry, but I just think it's totally untrue to argue that nobody's tried to understand the anger that people feel about our healthcare system. Yes, I think they have. A lot. People have very valid frustrations and complaints and issues with the healthcare system, and that is valid. Supporting murder is not. But I think there absolutely has been a widespread reckoning with how come people are so upset and hateful towards health insurance. Oh, well, people are being harmed by the current system. I don't think anybody really denies that. It's the logical leap to then being gleeful and endorsing murder, which Taylor absolutely does from her social media posts and her public commentary. Although sometimes she'll add a qualifier like, I don't support it, but yeah, it gave me joy, or some sort of statement like that. So Taylor, it's not that we don't understand people's anger. We're just not willing to therefore endorse acts of evil like you basically are. And personally, I don't know about y'all. This is just me here. I don't think I would brag about it if I had massively grown my audience and made myself a lot of money by jumping in on a death cult. That's just me. That's just me. You do you, Taylor. Kudos for honesty and transparency, I suppose. But this next part is actually the most disturbing bit of this entire clip. Take a listen.
Who got her outside court in New York.
So you're going to see women especially that feel like, oh my God, right? Like here's this man who's revolutionary, who's famous, who's handsome, who's young, who's smart. He's a person that seems this morally good man, which is hard to find.
Yeah, I just realized women will literally date an assassin before they swipe right on me. That's where we are.
Not the cackling and basic agreement. Where is the pushback? Where is the journalism from this Donnie guy on CNN? It's really something how he just nods along with this absurd statement. Or Taylor Lorenz sort of speaking for women, but clearly she agrees with this, in my view, based on her other commentary and public posts, saying that the alleged murderer here is a morally good man. No, he might be physically attractive. I'm not denying that, to be clear, but he is not a morally good man. Morally good people don't, allegedly, he deserves to stay in court like anyone else, murder people in cold blood, track them down, and assassinate them. That is an immoral thing to do, a very immoral thing to do. If you believe human life is a right and is sacrosanct, which I do, and I think most people of good faith do. And of course, it's an immoral act in part because it accomplished absolutely nothing, just murdering someone and traumatizing a family and causing suffering while achieving no reform whatsoever in this company's practices or in the industry, if anything, just making them look more sympathetic. So even from a purely utilitarian point of view, still not moral. And again, your response to this unhinged statement, I'm not against interviewing crazy or controversial people, but you got to push back, is to laugh about your Tinder problems. Really? That's CNN journalism? Wow. Now, of course, Taylor is responding to all the controversy and backlash from her comments by taking accountability, apologizing. Just kidding. I almost got you there. By gaslighting us, absurdly. She wrote on Blue Sky, of course, Fox News, New York Post, Mediaite, and big right-wing influencers are manufacturing another fresh round of fake outrage about me because what they really want is to deplatform me. These people call up brands I work with and places I write and take my quotes out of context and try to get them to fire me. She continued in another post, I sincerely hope that people see these fake campaigns for what they are. The right-wing media, these influencers, etc., their goal is to generate outrage and channel that outrage for political ends. This is just Gamergate over and over again. Please don't fall for it. So it's a tad ironic to see someone like Taylor Lorenz, who has cheered on cancel culture and participated in it endlessly in her years as a woke journalist at the New York Times and Washington Post, now cry, woe is me, I'm a victim, cancel culture. But to be clear, I won't be calling up any brands, or I won't be trying to get her banned on any platform. I'm just criticizing her ideas, and that I think she is clearly making arguments and statements that are psychotic and immoral, and unfortunately reaching large audiences with that message and stirring up disturbed and potentially crazy people to do more acts of violence possibly is a real possibility from her work. And what I will not stand for is this claim that her remarks are out of context, or that how could anyone accuse me of supporting this killer? She's literally posted like gleeful celebrations about the murder. She's done interview after interview where she says that she felt joy when it happened. So spare me. No one's taking you out of context by just accurately citing what you said. So, okay, I mean, listen to this clip of her where she said something very similar, but she's just being taken out of context.
This issue of Brian Thompson, one of the top healthcare executives in the country, I'm just curious why your first reaction would be to his cold-blooded execution. And people wonder why we want these executives dead. And then you later commented when people were giving you a lot of blowback, I'm not alone, you said. Healthcare executive down with party balloons was on a next post that you commented on. Why would you be in such a celebratory mood about the execution of another human being? Aren't you supposed to be on the caring, sharing left where, you believe in the sanctity of life?
I do believe in the sanctity of life. And I think that's why I felt, along with so many other Americans, joy, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the woman who said a murder gave her joy is now accusing people of taking her out of context by accusing her of supporting that murderer. Like, spare me. Just because you occasionally at the end of your long unhinged rants throw in of course it's not good to shoot people in the street, and then go on this long rant. I'm not buying that. People should maybe include that in their criticism of you, but you're not being taken out of context. It's not all a hit job. And to whatever extent you're getting canceled or this kind of backlash to you, well, I mean, you played yourself. You played this stupid game for years, and now you're winning stupid prizes by getting it done back to you. So I won't be playing the world's tiniest violin for you, Taylor. And I hope that you wake up and see the light, because it's demonic. Everything you're doing, everything you're pushing, and others in the Luigi death cult. I understand the frustrations and why people are upset and hurt by the US healthcare system, but this is not the way. And just one more word on CNN. This guy, Donnie O'Sullivan, is just doing a terrible job with this coverage. There's no other way to say it. It's totally unfair and unbalanced, and he's making absurd claims like this.
What we're looking at here is obviously, when it comes to extremism in this country, I mean, the issue very much so is on the right, on the far right, from Charlottesville to January 6th. There isn't exactly an equivalent on the left in this moment. And as you can see there, as part of our doc, we actually were outside the DC jail on inauguration night when, of course, Trump began pardoning a lot of people who took part in the January 6th riot, and people began to be released.
Yeah, this is an insane thing to claim, that extremism is largely or mostly a right-wing phenomenon in modern America. Dude, do you not watch the news? Do you not turn on the internet? Do you not see all the people firebombing Teslas, vandalizing innocent people's cars in the streets because they're mad at Elon Musk and Trump? Did you miss the whole thing where Trump was targeted by assassination attempts repeatedly and many people celebrated it or were sad it was unsuccessful? Did you miss the recent polling that we covered on this show that said a majority or near majority of left of center Americans think assassinations of Trump or Elon can be at least partially justified? Did you miss all the widespread violence and death and looting and destruction that happened during 2020 and as part of the BLM movement? Like, look, right-wing extremism is a problem too. I condemned January 6th then, and I condemn it now. It was a violent attack. Dozens of police officers were injured. Some of you guys in the comments get upset when I say this, but you can look it up. It's a fact. There's footage. And yes, there are other instances of right-wing and far-right extremism, and I find them all contemptible. I've been very clear about this political violence problem on any side, but do not sit there and say, oh, it's just a right-wing problem. That's obviously not true. It's happening all around us, particularly, I would say, at this current moment on the far left, because the right is in power. But regardless, like, this is just a totally dishonest way to analyze it. And I think it's remarkable that this was just aired and presented as fact and unchallenged on CNN. I can't say I'm particularly surprised, but somehow I'm still disappointed.